little bit late in the afternoon. You can see the sun's kind of coming down, but we got a little bit of light yet, and I want to get a session in. This last weekend, I had a chance to work with Bella along with some of my other dogs. I recognized pretty quickly, I think, some of our weaknesses, and as I think back here on the last few sessions that we've done with Bella, you've seen some of those weaknesses. We're having a hard time sending her back to a second and third dummy in the same location. We're having a little bit of a difficult time pushing her to run a straight line through. So we're going to work on a few drills that we're going to, I think, help with that. We're going to use a new spot. Now we are going to continue to use this location, and I'm going to start out here today actually with a little hunt command drill in this spot. I want her to start to develop this trust in me. When I say to go that way, you got to go that way, and you got to go more than 30, 40 yards and hunt. And so it's a combination of things that we need to do to get to be able to do that. But what I am going to do is use this spot as a spot where she remembers and knows there's things to be found in. They're just long memories that we're going to continue to build. The idea of go to that spot, go to that spot, go to that spot. So we're going to kind of give this drill a break. We've struggled with it the last couple days that we filmed. We're going to give it a break, and instead we're going to go work on building the skill in a different area, and I'm going to explain why in a second. But before we do that, one of the drills that we did yesterday with her was we worked on a little hunt command in this spot actually, and we're going to do it again in here today. We're going to use tennis balls. We've got some fresh snow. So one thing I'm going to do is I've got these wings, and these wings are just about done. They're taking a little bit of a beating here through the season. These were freshened up at the beginning of the fall. I'm going to take a couple tennis balls, and I'm just going to recent them up here on this wing. You can see she does like that. That's good. We'll get her excited about it. It's just a good way to put a little bit of fresh scent on there. You really could just use your hands if you wanted to. Put some of your scent on it and put it in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her sit down. Now I don't really want her to watch. I don't care if she sees it, but I don't care to have her see it either. What I got to do is I got to throw it way up because I need it to punch through the snow. So I don't want her to see these. I don't want these to be visual. This is going to be all scent work. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to pitch it up high. And that was a bad throw. I want to get him into that circle there. I'd prefer to not put them right next to each other, and I just did. So I'm going to have her sit. I'm going to reset this. Now I can see where they are. What I'm going to do is pick this up. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm just going to throw it down into the ground. I don't want this to be this is going to be a nose drill. And what I'm going to do with her, I did it yesterday, and I'm going to have Ben, I filmed it with my phone. We're going to clean it up and we're going to post it on our social media. It's just like a 4-minute video. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring her into that area, and one of the things that she hung up on yesterday was by putting her on sit, I put her on like a remote sit, and then I released her from a distance. Took a few steps back and I gave her a little hunt command. And she was real hesitant to come off that remote sit. And to be honest with you, that's not necessarily the worst thing. I want her to be a little bit hesitant to come off a remote sit. It's just a sign of her steadiness. Now, one thing I've noticed, and she's doing it here, she's in heat. She has been in heat. She's spotting pretty heavily. She's marking. She's trying to pee, and she doesn't have to pee that much, but she's bleeding pretty good. So this is a test for her, and you can kind of see how heavy she's spotting. Gotta be really careful if you've got a male dog, obviously. We don't here, so we don't worry about it that much, but well, we do worry about it. We just aren't worried. We don't have the opportunity to have her bred here anyway, so we're pretty safe that way. But so you got to be careful of that. But I think you also got to understand that a lot of times heat cycles throw some of these mama dogs off, some of these female dogs off. Now, she's not a mama dog by any means. She's 9 months old, but it can really throw a loop in them. They can act funny. She's been a little bit whiny on her bed. I don't know if she's not feeling that good. I don't know. It's a combination of things probably. A lot of changes going on in her body right now. So you just got to keep that in mind and understand, you know what, if they don't do things perfectly, there's there's reasons. We don't always have the best days either. So what I'm gonna do is, now I've got one there, I've got one there, I've got one there. I'm gonna bring her over here. I've got one right here. So I'm just moving it off. And I'm just gonna center her, sit. And I'm gonna put her into the center of this little bit of cover. No, this is the same cover, sit, sit. This is the same cover that we've done hunt commands during the summer when we have a little bit taller grass. I'm gonna start off. Loss, good, loss. Now she wants to come right to me. Loss, good, good. Loss, loss. Loss, loss, loss. Good girl, very good. Right here, hold. Now, I'm giving her this little command, loss, loss, loss. I start out with find it, good. Not in a hurry to take it away from her. Good girl. I've started out with her with find it when she was a little bit younger. Used to do it a little more energetic. Got her kind of jacked up about it, got her excited about it. Now I'm starting to slow her down. I want her to hold the area a little bit. So I changed my hunt command to loss, loss, loss. It's a lot more calming than find it, find it, find it. So I'm just making that change at this point in her training. Here, here, here. Sit, sit up, good. So I'm gonna bring her back into the area. I'm gonna let her regroup, and then I'm gonna send her off of this again. So I'm gonna stop her with a single blast whistle. She's already stopped. Loss, loss, good. She always wants to come back. Loss. She always wants to start by coming back to me. She feels safe that way. Loss, loss. Good girl, very good. Good girl, right here, hold. Now when she gets it back to me, when she gets in the area and I read her body language where I know she smells it, good, here, 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 here. I don't say anything anymore. I just let her work it out. Did. Good, sit. Sit. I let her work it out. Don't say anything. Just let her find it, let her find it. When she finds it, bingo. Good, good. Bring her back to you. Heel, heel, heel. Right back to the center. Good, good. Now I want her to be stopped. Loss, loss, good. We'll work that out. Loss, 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 good, loss, loss. She gets outside the area, I'm not going to say anything either. Loss. Kind of like a game of hot and cold when you're a kid. Hotter, hotter, colder, colder. No, no. Loss. 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 Good girl. Good girl. Very good. That's a good dog right here. Very good. Right here. Hold, good, good. Sit up, good, good, good girl. Did, good. So that's a nice little hunt command to start this out. I'm gonna put her into heel. We're gonna move over to the next spot that we're gonna work. Now this next drill that we're gonna do, and you'll notice I'm off lead with her, and we're gonna start heeling off lead through some pretty tempting stuff. Through this, here she is with her little peeing thing. It's all just, this is all new today. Heat cycle stuff, come on, come on, Come on, come on. And I got to keep that in mind. Ben can edit this stuff out. We don't need to show all of it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Come on, come on. Good. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a drill. I'm going to set up for a drill here in another area, and we're going to use it real consistently and repetitiously over the next few days, maybe a week or so. And it's a spot that I had the snowmobiles this weekend, and we kind of wore down a nice path. It's not the driveway. We could use the driveway, and I probably will use the driveway to do this drill as well. But it's similar to the driveway. The difference is it's a little more challenging than the driveway in that we've got this strip of woods. And so when we've got this little strip of woods, that has a tendency for her to stop her. So across this strip of woods, there's a little bit of an opening. She runs really good in the open. And then as soon as she gets to where it starts to choke down here, she has a tendency to kind of slow up. And that brush on the sides is just like a little visual barrier for her, and it creates a hurdle. So what we're gonna do for this is we're gonna send her through that barrier. So we're gonna start out with a dummy. I want these things to be visual. So I'm gonna have a dark dummy on the snow. Watch. 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 And so her head's all over the place. I'm not going until she looks at this dummy. Watch. Watch. I'm going to start over. So, again, by forcing our way through this, if we don't get this stuff right, she's not going to have much luck. If she doesn't have much luck, we're doing this drill and we're going to be scratching our head at the end and going, man, she didn't get it again. So it's got to all be right. Sit. Sit. Watch. Watch. Then I'm going to have you move behind me. So part of this could be a little distraction with Ben. Part of it is, you know, we just talked about she's in heat right now, and this could be a little bit of a hiccup of hers. Watch. Good. See the difference? Were you able to see that? Yeah. So huge difference. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to ladder out another dummy. So I'm going to have you stay behind me, Ben. Come on. Totally. So you go behind me. Here's a second one. Again, it's going to be dark. Sit. Watch. Heel. Leave that second one. Now we're going to come for a third one. And this third one is white. And actually I've got a yellow one here, so I can use one with a little bit of color contrast. Sit. Watch. You can see she's real dialed in on them. Now, I'm not going to go real far. Eventually I'm going to. But this time, I'm actually going to stay in the woods here. When I say in the woods, I mean in this little strip of woods. The reason I know this is going to happen is because I did it yesterday. And what I did yesterday was I scattered them out like this. I laddered them, but I went back here and I sent her from there. And the first one she did good. She'd come running through and she'd pick the first one. And then when I'd send her on the second one, she'd get right here and she'd start to hunt. All these tracks that are on the edge here, those are hers from yesterday. She'd just start running and hunting the edge. She didn't want to push into it. And we're not asking her to push into the cover. Eventually we're going to. We're asking her to just go through the cover on the road. But because it choked her down like that visually, it became a little bit of a barrier. So I learned that yesterday. So I thought about it. I said, well, tomorrow I'm going to do it differently. send her from inside of the cover, so she doesn't have to go from outside to inside. She starts inside and goes out. So we're gonna try this and see if we can't get 1, 2, 3. They'll just get a little longer each time. Then we can start to add some distance. So we got plenty of delay. Sit down. Watch. Bella. 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 Good. 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 Come on. Good girl. Little whistle to get her back. Here, here, here. Little whistle to get her back just in case she sees that second dummy and wants to switch. Now we haven't really worked hard on her to keep her from switching. She's done a nice job. Part of it is we spread these dummies out. Here, here, here. Sit. Sit. Now, typically, I always say, add some distance, add some distance. So normally she gets it, I'd back up. I'm not even gonna worry about adding distance right now because I can't get her to do 3 in a row. So stop when I'm adding distance. So let's stop adding distance, let's simplify it. And in fact, I don't mind taking a step to it. Sit. Because I'm looking to get 3 good ones in a row. She didn't do it yesterday. I'm looking to do it today. Watch. Bella. That one stands out real good. Very good. Come on. Good. Now this last one's gonna be the toughest. As you can see down there, it's hard to see. Here, here, here. It's a lot harder to see it. Good. Right here. No hurry. Still in no hurry to take it away. Sit up. Good. Did. Did. Good. Heel. Heel. Now again, normally I'm adding distance every retrieve. No reason to do it with her right now. We'll probably take a step forward because this one is going to be the hardest for her to find. It's beyond her comfort level. Her comfort level is about where that second one was. If I sent her to a long one, her spot of stopping would be about that distance. So I'm going to really I'm really going to have to hope for her to push through it. So I'm actually going to cheat. I'm going to take a step forward, heel, and give her even a help the right direction. Watch. Ella. Very good. And she blows through it. Now I'll add distance. Very good. Come on. Come on. That's a good girl. Very good. That's a good girl. Right here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Stepped on the rope there. Hold. Hold. I'm not going to get on her about it, but I'm not going to let it slide either. Hold. Good. Sit. Sit. She has to know that that's not accepted. Good. Did. Did. Good. Don't mind giving it back, especially because she had the problem dropping there. Good. Sit. She doesn't need to wander. Very good. Hold. Hold. Still have not hold conditioned her. Hold. Did. Started thinking about that today. Haven't done it yet. That'll come. Sit. Haven't really had a need to. That's the reason why we really haven't. She's due. She should get hold conditioned. Here. It hasn't created any issues yet. So now I'm going to repeat this. I'm going to set this back up. Actually, what we're going to do is come down this way. Set it up the opposite way. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good. Come on. You can just see the whole idea of her being in heat right now is, if that's not on her mind, I don't know what would be. Come on. I might even end it. I might even call this a session. We got our little success there. We got a nice hunt command out of her. She's whimpered just a little bit just now. She's clearly not feeling good. So she's really spotting heavily. I think what we'll do is call it. We'll just call it. There's no reason to push this anymore. That was a very good lesson. All things considered, even beside the idea that she's probably not feeling the best right now. But even if she were feeling good, I would say, man, that was a good session. And the reason it was so good is because we just made it extremely simple. We made it almost, it made it a lot harder for her to have an issue. And I've come to realize my expectations with her sometimes are unrealistically high. I jumped into some stuff here that we haven't done in a long time. We haven't really built up to get to it. We just did it, and she didn't, you know, she proved to be human, if you will, or dog, where she made some mistakes. And the reasoning isn't because she can't do it or won't be able to do it. The reason is because I just haven't taken the steps to get her there, and I'm expecting her to be able to just jump right into some things, and that's not realistic. I'm also guilty of it with my older dogs. I was having a conversation with my buddy Todd about it this weekend. He just got back from a hunt. He went on a Kansas duck hunt, and he said the dogs did pretty good, but they struggled at certain things. And he said, and I kind of got upset at it at first, and then I realized for the last 2 months I really hadn't done much with them. And so it's not their fault. It was mine for not really having them prepared for this hunt. And so I took, you know, I took my older dogs out last night, and I worked on some things that I know they struggle with. Some marking drills, and I set it up, and they were probably set up that difficult enough that if they had done them last fall when I had been working with them more consistently, if we had gotten to the point, I probably would have set up a drill similar to it, and if they had done well with it, I'd have been real happy. Well, here I am a couple months later setting them up for it, and they didn't do very well, and I'm going, to start out I was frustrated, and I went, man, I'm doing the exact same thing that I'm feeling the same way Todd did. Frustrated by their performance, and then realizing it's not their fault, it's mine. I'm setting them up to do things poorly, not sequentially. And so I'm guilty of that at times. I expect them to do things, and then I realize they'll be able to do them if I set them up for it properly, and I'm not always setting them up properly. It goes back to patience. It goes back to the idea of having a step 1, a step 2, a step 3, and understanding you got to kind of follow along with that. So, you know, I'm happy with this. I'll do this again tomorrow. I'll do this again the next day. I'll start to add the distance to it. I'll leave the dummies in the similar position, and I'll end up, you know, pretty soon we'll be sending her from the other side of that pond and going across all this stuff. But we're not going to be, I want to do that today, and I know we won't be able to. Then what we'll do is we'll go and do the exact same thing in that cover, and I'll send her through the strip, and I'll send her at a little longer distance. And I bet you real quickly we'll get 1, 2, 3 retrieves in a row in the same spot, sending her back without much issue. And if you look, I don't know what number we're on right now, but if you look back 2 or 3 episodes from here, you'll see those hurdles that we ran into. She didn't do them very well. Fast forward a few, and you'll see how we were able to go back and take the proper steps to get her there. So it's just recognizing sequence, and recognizing that I don't have a problem with pushing her to the point where she falls short. I think that's a good thing, actually. I just think that when you fall short, you got to be able to control your emotion and realize there's nothing to be frustrated about. It's just you found the point that she's capable of getting to, and now you got to go back and bridge all that stuff up underneath it to be able to go another chunk, to get it to bite another section off of wherever it is you're going with the dog. So all in all, very simple lesson, very successful lesson. Exactly what she needed, exactly what I needed. And we did it through some hostile conditions of a heat cycle, probably. God knows what's going through her head right now and within her body. So just that alone, finding success and simplifying the training is probably a good move to do at that point. So, and she's a very patient little dog, and I'm enjoying the idea that this is something that we haven't done, and this is something that we certainly can do. To wrap this up, you know, we don't throw enough denials. We don't pitch enough bumpers with no action. So we got to continue to remember that as well. and we got to have her understand that her job at times is sit there and look pretty, and she does a nice job with it most of the time. So she's got to understand that the patience part is ongoing in to this point, and I've been real pleased with her. So we'll continue to build that. Sit down, sit down, sit down. We'll continue to build on that, and just little simple drills like this of putting her on sit and then move around and then come back to her. And just throughout the day you can do this stuff all the time, and you get dogs to start to settle in and be comfortable settling in and not having any issues with it. So that's it. That was a good session. We'll bring her back in, put her up, and we'll move on tomorrow.
Drive home, and I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if you don't.